In this previous chapter, we located at the broad classifications of living organism under the systems proposed by Whittaker, that is 1969, wherein he suggested the five kingdom classifications viz. Monera, Protista, Fungi, Animalia and Plantia. In this chapter, we will deal in detail with further classifications within kingdom Plantia, popularly known as the plant kingdom. We must stress here that your understanding of the plant kingdom has changed over time. Fungi and members of the Monera and Protista having a cell walls have now been excluded from Plantia. Those earlier classifications place them in the same kingdom. So these cyanobacteria that are also referred to as a blue green algae are not algae anymore. In this chapter we will describe algae, bryophyta, petridophytas, gymnosperm and angiosperm under Plantia. Let us also look at classifications within angiosperms to understand some of the concern that influenced the classification system. The earliest system of classifications use only cross superficial morphological characters such as habit, color, number, and shape of leaf, etc. They were based on mainly to vegetative characters or on the androeciums structure that systems given by Linnaeus. Such systems were artificials. They separated the closely related species since they were based on a few characteristics. Also, the artificial systems gave equal weightage to vegetative and sexual characteristics. This is not acceptable since we know that often the vegetative characters are more easily affected by environment as against the natural classification systems developed, which were based on natural affinities among the organizations and considers not only the external features but also internal features like ultra-structures, anatomy, embryology, and phylochemistry, such as a classifications for flowering plants was given by Georg Bentham and Joseph Dalton Soker. Present phylogenetic classification system based on an involuntary relationship between the various organisms are accepted. They assume that organisms belonging to the same taxa have a common ancestors. We now use information from many other sources to help resolve difficulties in classifications. These become more important when there is no supporting fossil evidence. Numerical taxonomy, which is now easily carried out using computers, is based on all observable characteristics. Number and codes are assigned to all the characters and the data are then proposed in this way. Each character is given equal importance. At the same time, hundred of characters can be considered. Cytotaxonomy, that is based on cytological informations like chromosome number, structure, behavior, and chemotaxonomy that use the chemical constituents of the plants of resolve confusions are also used by taxonomists these days. 3.1 Algae. Algae are chlorophyll-bearing simple thalloid autotrophic and largely aquatic, that is both freshwater and marine organisms. They occur in a variety of other habitats, moist, stone, soils and wood. Some of them also occurs in associations with fungi, that is lichen, and animals, example onslaught bears. The form and size of algae is highly variable, ranging from colonial forms like volvax and the filamentous form like eulethrics and Spirogyra. Figure 3.1. A few of marine forms such as clips form massive plant bodies. The algae reproduce by vegetative, asexual and sexual method. Vegetative reproduction is by fragmentations. Each fragmentations develop into a thallus. Asexual reproduction is by the productions of different types of spores, the most common being the zoospores. They are flagellated, that is motile, and non-germinations give rise to a new plant. Sexual reproductions take place through fusions of two gametes. These gametes can be flagellated and similar in size as in eulethrics, or non-flagellated, that's non-motiles, but similar in size, that's an in Spirogyra. Such reproductions is called isogamous. Fusion of two gametes dissimilar in size as in species of Eudrina is termed as angiosperm. Fusion of two gametes dissimilar in size as in species of Eudrina is an isogamous. Fusion between one large non-motile, that is static, female gamete and a similar motile male gamete is termed oogamous, example Volvax, fucus. Algae are useful to man in variety of way. At least a half of the total carbon dioxide fixations on Earth is carried out by algae through photosynthesis. Being photosynthetic these days, the leaf of dissolved oxygens in their immediately environment. They are of permanent importance as primary produce of energy rich compounds which form the basis of the food cycle of aquatic animals. Many species of Porphyra, Laminaria, and Sargassums are among the 70 species of marine algae used as food. Certain marine brown and red algae produce large amount of hydrocolloids, that's water holding substance. Example allicin, that is brown algae, and carrageen, that is red algae, which are used commercially, are one of the commercially product obtained from gladium and gracilaria are used to grow microbes and in preparations of ice creams and jellies. Chlorella, a unicellular algae rich in proteins, is used as a food supplement even by space travelers. These algae are divided into three main classes: chlorophycia, phycophycia, and rhodophycia. 3.1.1 Chlorophycia. The members of chlorophycia are commonly called green algae. The plant body may be unicellular, colonial, or filamentous. They are usually cross-green due to dominance of pigments chlorophyll A and B. The pigments are localized in definite chloroplasts. This chloroplast may be discoid, plate-like, reticulate, cup-shaped, spiral, or ribbon-shaped in different species. Most of the members have one or more storage bodies called pyrenoids located in the chloroplast. Pyrenoids contain proteins besides starch. Some algae may store food in the form of oil droplets. Green algae usually have a rigid cell wall made of an inner layer of cellulose and an outer layer of pectose. Vegetative reproductions usually take place by fragmentations or by formations of different types of spores. Asexual reproduction is by flagellated zoospores produced in zoosporangia. The sexual reproduction show considerable variation in these types and formation of sex cell, and it may be isogamous, anisogamous, or oogamous. Some commonly found green algae are Chlamydomonas, Volvax, Eulethryx, Spirogyra, and Cara. 3.1.2 Phycophycia. These members of Ecophysia are brown algae are found primarily in marine habitats. They show great variation in size and form. They range from simple branch filamentous form, that is ectocarpus, to profusely branch form as represented by kelps, which may reach a height of 100 meters. They possess chlorophyll A, C, carotenoids, and xanthophylls. They vary in color from olive green of various shades of brown depending upon the amount of xanthophyll pigment fucoxanthin present in. Then food is stored as complex carbohydrate, which may be in the form of laminarin of mannitolls. The vegetative cells have a logic wall, usually covered on the outside by a gelatinous coatings of allicin. The protoplast contains, in addition to plastid, a centrally located vacuole and nucleus. The plant body is usually attached to the substratum by a holdfast and has a stalk. The steep and leaf-like photosynthetic organ, the frond. Vegetative reproductions take place by fragmentations. Asexual reproductions is most brown algae by flagellate zoospores that are pear-shaped and have two unequal lateral attached flagella. Sexual reproductions may be isogamous, anisogamous, or oogamous. Union of gametes may take place in water or within the oogonium, that is oogamous species. The gamete are forms that pear-shaped and bear two lateral attached flagella. The common form are ectocarpus, dichota, laminaria, sargassums, and fucus. 3.1.3 Rhodophycia. The members of Rhodophycia are commonly called red algae because of the predominance of the red pigment fucoerythrin in their bodies. Majority of the red algae are marine with greater concentrations found in the warmer areas. They occur in both well-lighted regions close to the surface of water and also at great depth is oceans where relative little light penetrates. The red thali of most of the red algae are multicellular. Some of them have a complex body organization. The food is stored as Floridian starch, which is very similar to amylopectin and glycogen in structures. The red algae usually reproduce vegetative by fragmentations. They reproduce asexual by non-motile spores and sexual by non-motile. Table 3.1 Division of algae and their main characteristics. Gamete sexual reproduction in oogamous and a component by complex post-fertilization development. The common member are Polysiphonia, Prophyra, figure 3.1c, Gracilaria and Gladium. 3.2 Bryophyta. Bryophytas included the various mosses and birds that are found commonly growing in moist, shaded area in these hills. Figure 3.2. Bryophyta are also called amphibians of the plant kingdom because these plants can live in soil but are dependent on water for sexual reproductions. They usually occur in damp, humid, and shaded locales. They play an important role in plant successions on bare rock soil. The plant body of Bryophytas is more differentiated than that of algae. It is thallus-like and prostrate or erect and attached to the substratum by unicellular or multicellular rhizoids. They lack true roots, stem, or leaves. They may possess root-like, leaf-like, or stem-like structures. This main plant body, the Bryophytas, is haploid in produce gametes, hence is called a gametophyte. The sex organ in Bryophyta are multicellular. The male sex organ is called antheridium. They produce biflagellated antherozoid. The female sex organ called archegonium is flex-shaped and produce a single egg. The antherozoids are released to water where they come in contact with archegonium and antherozoid fuse with the egg to produce the zygote. Zygote do not undergo reductions divisions. Immediately they produce multicellular body called a sporophyte. The sporophyte is not free living but attached to the photosynthetic gametophyte and drive main form. It some cells of the sporophyte undergo reductions divisions, that is meiosis, in produce haploid spores. These spores germinate to produce gametophyte. Bryophyta in generally are of little economic importance, but some mosses provide food for herbaceous mammals, birds, and other animals. Species of Sapcanum or mosses provide peat that have long been used as fuel and as packaging materials for transshipment of living materials because of their capacity to hold water. Mosses, along with lichen, are the first organisms to colonize rocks and hence are of great ecological importance. Higher plants, since mosses form dense mats on the soils, they reduce the impact of falling rain and prevent soil erosion. The bryophyta are divided into liver oats and mosses. 3.2.1 Liver oats. Liver oats grow usually in moist, shady habitats such as a bank of its marshy ground, damp soil, trunk of trees, and deep in the woods. The plant body of a liver oats in thalloid. Example: Markensia. The thallus is dorsiventral and closely appraised to the substrate. The leaf member have thin leaf-like appendix in two rows on the stem-like structure. A sexual reproduction in liver oats take place by fragmentation of thalli of or by the formation of specialized structures called gamma. Gamma are green multicellular asexual spots which develop in small respicules called gamma cup located on the thalli. Gamma become detached from the parent body and cremate to form new individuals during sexual reproductions. Male and female sex organ are produced on the same or and different. This sporophyte is differentiated into a four seta and capsules. After meiosis, spores are produced with the capsules. These spores germinate to form free-living gametophytes. 3.2.2 Mosses. The prominent stage of the life cycle of mosses in the gametophyte, which consists of two stages. The first stage in the protonema stage, which develop directly from a spore in this creeping green branched and frequently flowers stage. The second stage in the leaf stage, which develop from a secondary protonema as a lateral buds. They consist of upright cylinder axis bearing spiral arranged leaves. They are attached to the soil through multicellulars and branched rhizoids. This stage bears the sex organ. Vegetative reproduction is mosaic by fragmentations and budding in the secondary protonema. In sexual reproduction, the sex organs antheridia and archegonia are produced as the apex of the leaf shoots. After fertilization, the zygote develop into a sporophyte consisting of seta and capsules. The sporophyte is more elaborate than in liver oats. The capsule contain spores. Spores are formed after meiosis. The mosses have an elaborate mechanism of spore dispersal. Common example of mosses are Funaria, Trichum, and Saphagunum. 3.2. 3.3. Petridophytes. The petridophytes included heristales and ferns. Petridophytes are used for medicine and as soil binders. They are also frequently grown as ornamentals. In evolutionary, they are the first terrestrial plants to possess vascular tissue. Xylem and phloem use cell study. More about this tissue in chapter 6. These petridophytes are found in cool, damp, shady places. Some may flourish well in sandy soil condition. You may recall that in bryophytes, in dominant phase in the life cycle in this gametophyte plant body. However, in petridophytes, this main plant body is sporophyte, which is differentiated in the true root, stem, and leaf. Figure 3.3. These organs possess well differentiated vascular tissue. The leaf in petridophyta are small, that is, microphyles, as in Genella, or large macrophyllus, as in fern. The sporophyte bear sporangia that are substantiated by leaf-like appendix called sporophyte. In some cases, sporophytes may form destinating compact structures called stobules or consens, that's Slaginella leucistem's. These sporangia produce spores by meiosis in spore mother cells. The spore germinate to give rise to inconspicuous small but multicellular free-living, mostly photosynthetic thalloid gametophyte called prothallus. These gametophytes require cool, damp, shady place to grow because of this specific restricted requirement and the need for water for fertilization. The spread of living petridophytes in limited and restricted to a narrow geographical regions. The gametophytes bear male and female sex organ called antheridia and archegonia respectively. Water is required for transfer of anthrozoids. The male gametes released from the antheridia to the mouth of archegonium. Fusion of male gamete with the egg present in archegonium result in the formation of zygote. Zygote thereafter produce a multicellular for differentiated sporophytes, which in the dominant phase of the petridophytes. In majority of the petridophytes, all the spores are of smaller kinds. Such plants are called homosporous. Genera like Genella and Slavinia, which produce two kinds of spore, macro, that is large, and micro, that is small spores, are known as heterosporous. The megasporous and microsporous germinate and give rise to a female and male gametophyte respectively. The female gametophyte in these plants are retained on the present sporophytes for variable periods. The development of the zygote into young embryos take place within the female gametophyte. This event is a precursor to the seed habit, considered as important step in evolution. The petridophytes are further classified into four classes: Phyllopsida, that is totems, Lycopsida, Synopsida, and Petropsida. 3.4. Gymnosperm. The gymnosneet sperma seed are plants in which the ovule are not enclosed by an ovary wall and remain exposed both before the after fertilizations. The seed that develop post fertilizations are not covered, that is, are naked. Gymnosperms included medium sized trees or tall trees and serve. Figure 3.4. One of the gymnosperm, the gained redwood tree sequoia in one of the tallest tree species. The roots are generally taproots. Roots in some genera have fungal associations in the form of mycorrhiza, that's penis, while in some other cycles, small specialized roots called coralloid roots are associated with endophixing cyanobacteria. These stems are unbranched dead cycles or branched dead spinous cinders. The leaf may be simple or compound in cycles. In pit leaf persist for a few years. The leaf in gymnosperm are well adapted to withstand extreme of temperatures, humidity, and wind. In conifers, the needle-like leaves reduce the surface area. Their thick cuticle and sunken stoma also help to reduce water loss. The gymnosperm have heterosporous. They produce haploid microsporus and megasporus. The two kinds of spore are produced within sporangia that are birth on sporophylls, which are arranged spirally along an axial to form black or compact strobili or cones. The strobili bearing microsporophylls and microsporangia are called microsporangiate or male strobili. The microsporas develop into a male gametophyte germination, which is highly reduced and is confined to only a limited number of cells. This reduced gametophyte is called a pollen grain. The development of pollen grain takes place within the microsporangia. These cones bearing megasporophylls with ovule or megasporangia are called microsporangiate or female strobili. The male and female cones are strobili may be born on the same trees, that's penis. However, in cycles, male cones and megasporophylls are born on different trees. The megaspore mother cells in differentiated form one of the cell of the nucleus. This nucleus is protected by envelope and the composite structure is called an ovule. The ovule are born on megasporophiles which may be clustered to form the female cones. These megaspore mother cells divide most mitotically to form four megaspore. One of the megaspore unclosed within the megasporangium develop into a multicellular female gametophyte that bears two or more archegonia or female sex organ. The multicellular female gametophyte is also returned within megasporangium. Unlike bryophytas and petrithophyta, in gymnosperm the male and female gametophytes do not have an independent free-living existence. They remain within two sporangia return on the sporophytes. The pollen grain is released from the microsporangium. They are carried in air current and come in contact with the opening of the ovule born on megasporophiles. The pollen tube carrying the male gametes grow towards archegonia in this ovule and discharge their content near the mouth of the archegonia. Following fertilization, zygote develop into an embryo and the ovule into seed. These seeds are not covered. 3.5 Angiosperm. Unlike the gymnosperm where the ovule are nicked in the angiosperms or flowering plants, the pollen grain and ovule are developed in associated structures called flowers in angiosperm. The seeds are enclosed in fruits. The angiosperm are an exponentially large group of plants occurring in wide range of habits. They range in size from the smallest olivia to tall trees in eucalyptus that's over 100 meters. They provide us with food, fodder, fuel, medicines, and several other commercials important products. They are divided into two classes, the dicotyledonous and the monocotyledonous. Figure 3.5. Thank you and visit again.